Okay, so I wanted to fly the Highway of Death, which is a road where lots of vehicles were destroyed, um, and I'm not sure, let's look it up, if this was the case in both Gulf Wars. It says the Highway of Death is a 6-lane highway between Kuwait and Iraq. Officially known as Highway 80, it runs from Kuwait City to the border of Safwan in Iraq and then on to the Iraqi city of Basra. The road was used by Iraqi armored divisions for the 1990 invasion of Kuwait. It was repaired after the Persian Gulf War and used by U.S. and British forces in the initial stages of the 2003 invasion of Iraq. During the American-led coalition offensive in the Persian Gulf War, American, Canadian, British, and French aircraft and ground forces attacked retreating Iraqi military personnel attempting to leave Kuwait on the night of February 26 to 27, 1991, resulting in the destruction of hundreds of vehicles and the deaths of many of their occupants. Between 1,400 and 2,000 vehicles were hit or abandoned on the main Highway 80 north of Al-Yahra. The scenes of devastation on the road are some of the most recognizable images of the war, and it has been suggested that they were a factor in President George H.W. Bush's decision to declare a cessation of hostilities the next day. Many Iraqi forces, however, successfully escaped across the Euphrates River, and the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency estimated that upwards of 70,000 to 80,000 troops from defeated divisions in Kuwait might have fled into Basra, evading capture. So here's a picture, and this is with the road cleared. Pictures I've seen just have like vehicles all destroyed on the road still. It's crazy, huh? Let's see, the attack began when A-6 intruder attack jets of the United States Marine Corps' 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing blocked the head and tail of the column on Highway 80, bombarding a massive vehicle column of mostly Iraqi regular forces with Mark 20 Rockeye 2 cluster bombs, effectively boxing in the Iraqi forces in an enormous traffic jam as the Turkey shoot began in earnest, setting up targets for subsequent airstrikes. Over the next 10 hours, scores of U.S. Marine and U.S. Air Force aircraft and U.S. Navy pilots from USS Ranger, CVA-61, attacked the convoy using a variety of weapons. Vehicles surviving the air attacks were later engaged by arriving coalition ground units, while most of the vehicles that managed to evade the traffic jam and continued to drive on the road north were targeted individually. The road bottleneck near the Mutlab Ridge police station was reduced to a long, uninterrupted line of more than 300 stuck and abandoned vehicles, sometimes called the Mile of Death. The wreckage found on the highway consisted of at least 28 tanks and other armored vehicles, with many more commandeered civilian cars and buses filled with stolen Kuwaiti property. The death toll from the attack remains unknown. British journalist Robert Fisk said he lost count of the Iraqi corpses crammed into the smoldering wreckage or slumped face down in the sand at the main site, and saw hundreds of corpses strewn up the road all the way to the Iraqi border. American journalist Bob Drogan reported seeing scores of dead soldiers in and around the vehicles, mangled and bloated in the drifting desert sands. 2000 study by the Project on Defense Alternatives estimated fewer than 10,000 people rode in the cut-off main caravan. And when the bombing started, most simply left their vehicles to escape through the desert or into the nearby swamps, where some died from their wounds and some were later taken prisoner. According to PDA, the often repeated low estimate of the numbers killed in the attack is 200 to 300, reported by journalist Michael Kelly, who personally counted 37 bodies, but a minimum death toll of at least 500 to 600 seems more plausible. In 1993, the Washington Post interviewed an Iraqi survivor of the attacks. There were hundreds of cars destroyed, soldiers screaming. It was nighttime as the bombs fell, lighting up charred cars, bodies on the side of the road, and soldiers sprawled on the ground, hit by cluster bombs as they tried to escape from their vehicles. I saw hundreds of soldiers like this, but my main target was to reach Basra. We arrived on foot. This is a picture more like the ones I've seen. There you got a BMP here. Looks like another BMP there. Tank. BMP is like an armored personnel carrier or infantry fighting vehicle. I can't really recognize that. Yeah, BMP and Type 63 T-72 tank. So, anyways, you can read more about it on Wikipedia, and I'm sure elsewhere. Copy the coordinates, and I think these are the coordinates to Kuwait City. So I'm going to punch them in. See what we get. Okay, so Kuwait City's here, and let's see, wow, look at all that light. Abadan. I'm gonna have to check some of these other maps to see where we need to go. Is that the highway there? Is this Basra? Right, so this is the map and showed Kuwait City here. And then this map, I think it was right about here was Safwan. And then I think about here is Basra. So, okay, so now there's the water. And so I'm going to say about left of the water. And yeah, so this might be Basra here. So my guess is that this is the highway. That would seem to make sense to me. So it's nighttime right now, but I don't want to fly this at night. I want to see how this all looks at the daytime. So I'm going to start here. And what sort of plane should I use? Not sure if I've flown this one yet. Close and that's not going to be my real arrival. My real arrival will be up here somewhere. And I may have to adjust the time of day. what's the weather like? Well, it's dark because it's nighttime. Oh, wow, look at that. That is brilliant looking. Is that just from the, wow. Okay, I may have to fly normally for a bit just because it's so well lit. I don't think my trim is set correctly. So let's loop around for a minute. Wow, this plane is very maneuverable. So this is Kuwait City. If it looks like money, it should. Lots of oil money in this city. I knew a serviceman who, U.S. serviceman who had to work here, or at least near here, and they made friends with Kuwaitis, and Kuwaitis would just like give them a Rolex watch like it was nothing. Take a closer look. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that was pretty close. All right, so maybe this is Highway A. This plane is not so easy to control because it's so maneuverable. I'm sure I don't have something set correctly. So that's the water, right? Wasn't expecting to see Kuwait so well represented for some reason. What was that? parking lot. I'll go over here for a second. Golly, this. Oh, there's roads that cross the water? Huh. Okay, so you just hit insert. See, I'm like practically flying vertical. I want the sun to rise. Let's try that. No. No, whoa, 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 whoa. No, up. Shoo. Golly. That was a close one. Feel like I can't use the camera as much because I'll lose control of the plane. Oh, whoa. I really need to take the flight lessons. There's the skyline in the distance. The wings on this plane feel like they're so long I'm gonna clip a building. Still have water there. Now, I should adjust the daylight again because when I upload this, YouTube's going to make it look darker. So let me do that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh. Must have it on super easy mode. Got the button for landing gear. Flaps. Not moving. Alright, we're gonna have to... Why don't we just use the drone cam? So... External. There we go. Okay, there's the water. And I think this is the highway here that we're talking about. I seem to like roundabouts. What's this over here? Maybe a resort? Hold on a second. Wonder where the border is. That heads off that way. Pretty sure this is Highway 80. Oh, is this the border? This looks like it could be a border facility here. It's got those, well, it looks like it has those ramparts that I've seen them use on the Iraqi border. I call them ramparts. I'm not sure if that's really what they are, like almost like levees, but without any water. What are these places? Just random little buildings, really separated from one another. Jeez, more of them. I guess these are neighborhoods. Huh. Look like there's supposed to be, power here. Like, major power lines. It's not modeled in the game. That would be something to watch out for, especially if you're using helicopters in this game. So I guess this could be 6 lanes, 3 on each side. This should take us to Basra. What is it, getting greener? Sun is up. It's kind of interesting how it winds. What in the world? That was weird. Am I supposed to be able to do that? I thought I might be able to take off again, but it's it was acting very strangely. I don't think this is a border checkpoint. I'm unclear as to how the game chooses between using photogrammetry data and actually using the AI to see buildings and place objects in the appropriate places, because sometimes the photogrammetry just looks kind of unsatisfying compared to what the AI does. I mean, in some ways the shape of the buildings can be more faithful, and I guess the textures too, but then when the AI places objects, the objects just look better, even if they're not as faithful to the real world locations, buildings that are there. Like, this is something I think they could fix, like when you have oil tanks. Maybe they could get some assets that could create better oil tanks. But they still serve the purpose from altitude. That's crazy, all the stuff that's... I mean, those are like bomb craters from the wars period, or plural. It's like how long will those be there? You know, they'll probably be there for thousands of years. I mean, they look almost like meteorite impacts. Okay, so now the question is, which way to Basra? Assume this Basra over here. Or is this Safwan? Is there a way to check the map to see where the drone camera is located on the map? Because that would be helpful. I really wish there was like a, and maybe there is, I just don't know what button it is, but I wish there was a map with satellite texture data, or, you know, a satellite texture, so you could better see where you are at any given moment, whether you're in a plane. I guess that if you're in a plane, you could do that in the cockpit, right? But what about when I'm in the drone cam? And again, maybe there's a way to do that, and I don't know what it is yet. That's one of the things about downloading games on Steam, rather than, as opposed to buying hard copies. See, I'm not sure we're far enough north yet. And now I'm afraid I've lost my way. So if the water's there, where did the highway go? I think it's over there. I mean, is this Basra? It looks kind of agrarian for Basra to me. I mean, I kind of expected Basra to be more urban. Maybe this is Safwan. Do I have my speed turned up? Yeah. It's funny how humans are stacked on top of each other in some places in the world. And then you got these other places where there's vast stretches of land with nobody on it. And of course, it's not just having a space to lay your head, but it's also having the necessities to sustain you, like food and water. And some of these places that have more space, now this could be Basra, the climate tends to be more hostile. Like here it's probably incredibly hot during the warmer months, and like Siberia, where I went to in another video, the climate there is just bitterly cold. This is interesting. How the roof kind of, it's got like an optical illusion thing going on to it, at least on this part here. See what I mean? Of course, you have to go somewhere where you can make a living, whether it's off the land or working for an employer, or where there has to be a market there for whatever it is you're selling. I still see water over there, so... I would really love it if they could enable using this for land combat simulations, like land-based combat. You know, with the full spectrum warfare, like air cover, that would be cool. Because I mean, nothing beats the natural chaos of, or should I say, an amalgam of chaos and order of human settlement. You try to make something that looks like a human settlement in a fresh from scratch map in a game, and it just winds up not looking as lived in, or looks more artificial than it should. Like, people want maps that are balanced for each side, but life isn't balanced. I mean, it's balanced enough. I mean, we maintain a balance that keeps at least some of us alive, but life is also not balanced. It's unfair sometimes, and two teams battle over an area. Sometimes the area is going to be biased towards one side, and the other team just has to deal with it and be able to get the victory even when they're at a disadvantage. And using real world maps can provide those scenarios. I've always hated when game designers, they take things like weapons in a game and they try to make them balanced so that it's fair for both sides, even though they're dealing with different weapons on each side. And the whole point of technology is to gain advantages. So, you know, I'm sorry that you feel that the MG42 or the MG3 is OP. But yeah, it was designed to be OP. You know, and the fact that your weapon can't compare to it suggests that your weapon has an inadequacy that needs to be addressed. Often what happens is soldiers just use what they're issued, because I can't afford a $25,000 belt-fed machine gun, which is what I could wind up being in the civilian market. So you learn to use what you have and then press it into service even when the enemy has something better. Now this might be Basra. This place looks huge. And I can't even imagine trying to, like, gain control of a place of this size. I mean, okay, the water's right there, so this looks like it could be Basra, and man, let's see, I could check right now. Google. No, I want Ugh. Maybe not. Maybe this is Abdali? No, this kind of looks like an agricultural place. We're still on... But now this is Basra. There's the river, and you could still see the water. So I think we... Or this might... Is this whole valley just filled with buildings? No, okay, it just kind of looks very busy. Nasiriyah, Safwan, Basra. Oh wow. Is that it right there? It looks like a shrimp. Yeah, that kind of, and then there should be, yep, here and here. Okay, so we are in... This is Az-Zubair. And we are right next to... I can't read that. It says 8. What is this? Not identified? $80. Okay, so this is still 80. They just changed it to 8 when it gets into Iraq, I guess, because this is Safwan, so that's the border. Okay, so the border's farther north than I thought it was. And this is that agrarian looking, well, actually this doesn't look so agrarian, it just looks more like, anyway, so we are now up here, and if we keep going north, that takes us into Basra. Okay, so along this road, highway. Hey, what happened to the sun? Oh, it's behind a cloud. It's kind of crazy. There's the sunlight over there. Is the sunlight gonna move? Hey, clouds, you thinking of moving anytime soon? Doesn't look like it. Interesting. So, I guess there should have been a place where we saw the wreckage along the side of the road. This should take us into Basra. Wait a second, Basra's across the water? Right? Yeah, I guess so. That's a bridge there, and I guess that's a waterway. The water has the color of the dirt around it. Oh, wow, look at that. Interesting. What is this? Stadium? It's a stadium, but it didn't get modeled. It's like two of them. Okay. Don't want to lose my way. So now this is Basra. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, little darling. It's alright. Doody dee doody dee doody doo doo doo. What are those? These like rice patties? Like some kind of maybe a flood zone? Okay, I got turned around, I think. There's the stadiums. Just can't imagine like how many troops it would take to control an area with this many people in it. It has to be the case that the largest majority of the people here are peaceful and want no part of conflict. So that the insurgents must be just the greatest minority. Either that or you just don't run into most of them. I say this because like a battalion, I think that's like maybe 1,000 soldiers. Then you need all the vehicles to move that many soldiers. I know they had like, whole brigades moving in. I think a brigade might be like 4 battalions. Could be wrong. It's been a while since I was in the army. But, you can always place troops at key points like bridges, intersections, and that helps you control things, but still you're not in every apartment, you know. You're not like census takers running around at light speed. You just can't be everywhere at once. Is this the place that they showed in the video? How close is Najaf? Is this the place that they showed in the video where they blanket bombed it? And they blanket bombed almost the whole thing? I know it was one of these islands in the river. And I assume this is the Tigris Euphrates now. Anyway, so that ends our little tour of the Highway of Death. And this is, I guess it's kind of silty or salty right here. Anyway, I want to explore more of this in the future, but not tonight. So if you've been watching, thanks for watching. And please comment, like, or subscribe if you feel so inclined. I've been making videos for a long time, but hardly anyone pays it much notice. And that's okay. I realize I don't put a lot of effort into editing, but that's just because I don't have that kind of time, and I'm not really, I have a job that takes up quite a bit of my time, so I'm not trying to make a career out of this. I just share things in my videos that interest me, whether it's games or subjects, and if it appeals to someone, that's okay, and if not, there's a whole lot of content on YouTube that's a lot better. So feel free to check out. I've got some accounts listed on my YouTube page that I highly recommend. And anyway, if you're watching right now while it's streaming, and you celebrate it, I hope you have a great Labor Day this weekend, and hope you get a chance to rest and spend quality time with the quality people in your life. So take care.